There was a viral video going around this week of Trent Williams allegedly tipping plays with his stance, even stance run, stagger stance pass. Is this something the coaching staff is aware of and okay with? And if so, why is it no big deal?
Oh, it definitely would be a big deal, but I don't study your viral videos. Or whoever's. So we're pretty good with Trent. So. All right, guys, injuries for today. Armstead didn't practice, foot ankle. Danny Gray was limited ankle. Samson, quad and Achilles didn't practice. Trent and Bosa, not injury related, but didn't practice. And Charvarius Ward had a personal matter, didn't practice. Go ahead.
Is there any concern about Ward?
No, it's all good.
Let's ask about that weather. You're not playing in this kind of weather on Monday night, so how do you balance out the advantage of the elevation with the disadvantage of practicing in climate that you won't be experiencing?
I don't see any. Nothing's changed yet. So, the cold's kind of a pain, and I don't like being cold, but, it hasn't changed anything with the practices. So, it's been no different so far. So, it's been all about the altitude, which they say helps us, so hopefully that will. I do think it's supposed to snow tonight, so that could change some stuff up tomorrow. The only thing I think it will possibly change, we just might go indoors. So, we're not missing anything any different.
So was that for today or just maybe tomorrow?
No, as long as you drive, we're not worried about the cold. It's about the field. And if it snows and stuff and there's something issue with the field, then we'll go inside. But we're not going to go practice on turf because we're cold. We're going to go practice on turf because the field's not safe.
If you go inside to practice, would you scale things back?
I doubt it. Yeah.
Was there any effect of the altitude today, just in how guys were feeling out there?
You can ask them. There's breaks. You don't go. It's not like a game, and I was good. I didn't get tired calling plays, but I think the guys were fine.
And Eric made the trip, but Javon didn't.
Yes.
And that's because of the swelling concerns.
Yes. Yeah.
Kind of cool for you, Coach, to be back in Colorado again this year. I know you were here week 3 of Denver, but now in the Springs. Is your dad and all the history there kind of cool for you?
I kept calling it Denver, and the players reminded me this isn't Denver. It's a lot farther away. But I like being by the mountains. It's been a while since I've been by the mountains. I didn't come up to Colorado Springs very much, but I don't love the cold that much, but I love the weather out here. I like being by the mountains, seeing it, and but the main thing is just getting used to the altitude. I remember when I'd come back from college and stuff, and how hard it'd be for me doing the workouts and stuff. And so to be here and Monday just going to a place that's I think like 2,000 feet higher. Glad we're here.
What caught your attention first? Was it the altitude or the snow, the weather?
What caught my attention first was the weather. And I know here usually it's about this time of year. It's like 50, feels cold. When Bosa told me it might be 9, the cold front's a little bit off. So we'll see tomorrow how it goes.
Coach, it was right around this time last year, right around week 10 or 11, where we saw this team go on a run, winning 7 of the last 9 games, taking all the way to the postseason. Are you getting that same sense and that feeling, especially when arguably it's an even stronger team this year on both sides of the ball?
I don't think we're there yet, but I feel that the key is to get better. And I think we had, in the beginning of the year, I think we were consistent. I think we had times. It wasn't just game to game, but it was kind of quarter to quarter. I do feel in these last few weeks, each week we are getting a little bit better. And that's kind of the goal, to get better. The more you practice, the more you play together. And as this all goes, and you're going to have some guys in, some guys out. Hopefully you always get more guys back. But this is usually where the real football happens. And I'm glad that we're going that direction instead of the other.
Coach, was it just the
they're still going to run a similar offense with both. So you still got schematically got to be ready. There's definitely some different skill sets and stuff, but we saw both last year. So our defense knows from going against both of them, they're both a problem, and you got to be ready for both.
Was that the plan going in with Samson being out?
We knew he was going to play more. You always would like to rotate him more, but that's one of the reasons we took care of him today.
Carl, Jordan Willis, was, I think, kind of an afterthought with all these guys coming back, but he looked pretty impressive. Were you surprised that, in his first game action, how he played?
When a guy's not on the field for a while, they're healthy when they return, but you never know what kind of football shape they're going to be in. And just watching him Wednesday and Thursday and Friday didn't surprise us because he looked great. Looked how he did last year back in training camp. And then we knew that when Samson went down that he was going to get more reps. So he got a few more opportunities with that, and he was ready for it. So we needed it.
Coach, was it just the elevation, or how did you land on Air Force Academy to be the spot to practice this week? And what's your experience been with the staff and the facility so far?
Yeah, it was just elevation. I mean, just when this came on our schedule a while ago, I always get suggestions by people, and all our guys were suggesting this, and I talked to a few coaches who had done this in the past. I know New England has, and I know Anthony Lynn did with the Chargers. So that was the main reason, and just, I always heard about, I always called it the Broadmoor growing up. I mean, almost everyone I knew always went there. My family never went there, so it was cool to be the first time going there. It's an unbelievable hotel, and they've really taken care of us. And this was my first time over to here today, but the players have been loving it.
Coming in a day early and just having a day off, is that part of the acclimation process?
Well, yeah, the whole plan originally was to come Monday. We were going to come Monday and just have more days here. After our long time away at the Greenbrier a few weeks ago, we thought it'd be better to come one day later. We decided that on last Wednesday, just to give them one more day at home since we had 8 days. The science people told me it wouldn't be a factor, and so we decided last week to come a day later, and I'm glad that we did.
Kyle, Brunskill, how would you just, kind of a broad question, but how would you describe how he's been able to carve out an NFL career?
It's been real impressive. I think he was a tight end to start. I think he got moved to O-line, was on Atlanta's practice squad, I believe. I think he got let go. I think he was in that AAF league for a little bit. And when that ended, I think we signed him to our practice, or we signed him to just the 90-man roster and OTAs, and just coming from AAF and stuff and just where he was, it's not like he jumped out right away. But then halfway through camp, he was just so consistent and kind of was exceeding our expectations. And then he ended up making the roster. Then when a few guys went down, we had to change his positions. And everywhere we put him, he's been able to rise to the occasion and play that. And he looks like he can't do it. Just give him a couple days and he finds out a way to do it. So I think he's one of the perfect examples of a guy who's got the ability to do it, but what gets him to that part is how smart he is, how he looks at tape, how he can apply that stuff, and just give him something to study and give him enough time to do it, and the guy usually figures it out.
I don't know if it's you or John who said, or maybe both, sometimes it does not look like real pretty with him, but he still manages to get it done. I mean, is that, when it doesn't look pretty, what does that look like?
O-line I think is tough for, if you don't just live in the world of watching the end zone copy only and just focusing just on that and never watching the football, it's really tough to evaluate an O-lineman. So when you have someone like Trent, a lot of people are going to notice him because he can do some highlights and things like that, but there's not many people who can make highlights like that. Outside of people like that, I like offensive linemen that I don't say their name one time in the entire game. Not like, oh my God, did you just see him kill him? Or, oh my God, who the heck just missed the 3 technique? And it's about staying in front of people and being consistent. So you can survive every play, so you have a chance to get the ball to your playmakers. When you get some guys like Dan and stuff, he might not have a ton of highlights. There's not going to be many times in the game where the quarterback just gets drilled right away, or there's a tackle for loss in the backfield because someone just completely whiffed. So extremely consistent. And when it comes to a lineman, you take that a lot more over people who touch the ball. People who touch the ball, some inconsistencies you can deal with as long as they make plays. But O-line, you want consistency over making plays.
Elijah Mitchell come out okay with that workload after the game, and what do you especially like about him and McCaffrey as a duo?
I think both of them can handle the load and do it all. And then I think because both of them are so good at it, and that they both can run any type of run at a high level, they both can do the pass game, that allows them to be a lot fresher, because it's not like we have a big, strong opinion on it. Like, no, Christian has to get this, Elijah has to get that. There's definitely things that one you might give an edge to over the other in some things, but it's almost splitting hairs. So when it's like that, it's just a lot more easier to rotate guys, and Because when guys are so drastically different, or one's a lot more successful at something than others, the running back, it's hard to put them in when they don't know what play you're calling. And when they got that skill set, they can just roll them in, keep them fresh, and I can request a guy if I need it, but it just makes everyone's job a lot easier.
Did you guys show interest in Dominican Sue?
I know that John looked into all those guys, so I'm sure he would have talked to them.
Related to that, is there any more clarity now on, a timetable for Eric Armstead coming back?
No, the same.
Coach, you've seen Christian's impact on the field. What ways has he maybe helped out this team off the field and just his leadership?
I think more just by example. I mean, everyone, Christian's had a lot of success everywhere he's been before he came here. I think everyone's very well aware of who he is. And then just, I think, to see his work ethic, to see how detailed he is in every rep he takes, how he is in walkthroughs, how he is in the meeting rooms. He acts like he's a practice squad guy just trying to earn a job. And I think he's always been that way, and that's the coolest way to lead, by example.
Seems very serious. More behind the scenes.
Christian? Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little bit. He's a pretty serious dude. It's exactly how his dad was. His mom's more the jokester, and I'd say he is a little in between. So he's got a little more personality. He can joke a little bit more, but he is about his profession, and he is completely locked into football all the time. So it's not a bad problem for us.
All right, guys, appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.